we are now going to transition to our interview with Meagan Braganca of the HoCo4Us Slate. Meagan, how are you doing this evening?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, thanks. Thanks for joining us. I guess for people in the audience that are not familiar with you, could you tell them a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run for Central Committee?
Yeah. So I've lived in Howard County for about 16 years. I'm originally from Montgomery County. I started being really active here in about 2013 when I joined the Sierra Club Howard County Executive Committee. I was on that for a few years, and then in 2018 I joined the Our Evolution Howard County Steering Committee after volunteering a lot for the Hiruy Hadgu campaign. So Our Evolution was a little bit of a switch from just straight environmental to, more generally progressive stuff. And then I was briefly on the CDC board for a few months. And then we started the Progressive Democrats of Howard County. So.
Hey, Meagan, yeah, that was a very good introduction, and thanks for plugging in my now defunct campaign for county council. But it was, I remember that it was a very good. We knocked on a lot of doors, and many of those actions is thanks to you. So yeah, that was good. So you mentioned that you were in the Columbia Democratic Club with Jake, and I'm sorry if it's going to dredge up some painful memories here, but can you explain some, can you tell the audience some of the experiences, and not, it's up to you if you want to talk about specific individuals, but in general the environment that you experienced and why you think that there was that you and Jake and Nick were subjected to those actions.
Yeah, so my first experience with really getting into the political scene was 2014, because I was the political coordinator for Sierra Club Howard County. I one of the things that I noticed starting in 2014 was that when I would go to political events, it tended to be the same people, and it tended to be it just felt very insular, you either knew the in crowd or you didn't, and it was a little bit awkward to go to those things. But I wasn't really involved at the party level. So I volunteered for a lot of candidates, federal, state, local, all that kind of stuff. And then when I joined the board of the CDC, I kind of went into that experience thinking that the CDC was a really progressive club. I think I had only been to a few meetings before that, but I don't know, it seemed like that it was probably the most progressive club, but I was just really surprised at how conservative it actually was. And that sort of came to a head with the whole ICE thing. And this kind of this kind of runs into sort of like the reason why I'm running. You know, right now, and what I kind of started to see when I was on the board of the CDC is that, you know, it seems as though the Central Committee is kind of like a cheering squad for the elected officials. And I just, you know, I don't think that they have any like visibility really. You know, with Democratic voters, I don't really know that many people. I don't really know what they've been up to. I don't hear from them on any kind of issues. The only time I ever heard anything from, and it wasn't even directly from the Central Committee member, I was told, you know, to back off of the legislative committee stuff with the CDC because Central Committee members didn't want the ICE contract to end. And I was like, it was just bizarre. So, you know, I just, I think that the way things are now is sort of the opposite of the way things are supposed to be. You know, I think the reason why I'm running, and I think the reason why a number of us are running is because, you know, we have a different idea. Political parties were only ever supposed to be collections of people that have similar ideas on how to bring about good governance. And it was never supposed to be a power structure. It's never supposed to be a money machine. None of that was ever supposed to happen. Because once that happens, why would there be any reason for the political party to go to the voters? You know, once it's its own, you know, power structure and it's about power and money, then the voters can be, you know, not listened to. And I think that's what we're seeing. I think Karen was just talking about how a majority of the country wants Medicare for all. Why don't we have it? You know, this is part of the reason why, you know. So I, you know, I just think that the CEF is a big step. The pledge is a big step. I mean, we need to get the money out and we need to really bring the party to where the voters are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, we, you know, have launched this no developer donation pledge to address exactly that. But could you, I guess, explain a little bit more in detail the dynamics of, like, you know, why it's important to get the money out of politics and like what its sort of direct effect on the process and on the elected officials is?
You know, the only people that were talking about this last election cycle was Hiruy and Liz Walsh, and the issues that they were talking about was they were so much closer to what voters were thinking. You know, I mean, Hiruy really like had a plan for how to make things more fair in terms of, you know, developer versus community. You know, Liz with this new idea of, you know, constituents were her special interest and she wasn't taking any developer money, neither was Hiruy. It really started to change the conversation. And, you know, look at what Liz has done since she's been in office. She's done everything she said she was going to do, because there isn't any complicating layer of, you know, money and people that she owes because they helped her get elected. So
Yeah, that's really the fact that, you know, Liz was, you know, after she got elected, she was introducing bills that, you know, that she said that she will, you know, it was clear that she had no obligations to anybody except the voter, and you can see it through her work. So I totally agree. And I want to also, point out, just touching back to the CDC, what I found very interesting was, you were, going in there with the legislative committee, and you were just trying to do the work, and just get people, trying to do the work and get other people to do the work. Like I remember, you're sharing these, a spreadsheet, and get getting people to sign up. So and then there would be people responding with these, just questions or whatever, like just to throw roadblocks at at this progress. And I suspect that if we get elected, we will face similar roadblocks. And are you are you at all concerned about that? And if so, what do you think we can do to to overcome those roadblocks? Because money is on the line. So that's there's no doubt that we will face that kind of resistance.
Yeah, that's, really unfortunate. And I, again, it's like you said, when money's on the line, things go haywire, I mean, like, take the example of, me being told, that the central committee members don't want to end the ICE contract and stuff. What does that have to do with the CDC? The CDC is a paid membership club. What does that have to do with anything? I mean, it should only matter what the paid members think equally, just because somebody is on the central committee or somebody is involved in whatever else, they shouldn't have more of a say in a dues paying club than another member. So, that part was just really confusing. But, in terms of where to take things from here. I think that the future of fundraising, particularly with the CEF, is going to be totally different. And I'm kind of surprised that the current central committee didn't start to prepare for the CEF in terms of getting an apparatus set up for Democratic voters to understand that they should be giving directly to their favorite candidates based on strong platforms. This idea that money should be, fundraising should happen centrally, and then, give to this person and you get money back from this person, and or this candidate is, that is the old way of doing things. With the CEF, you have a 250 cap, no LLCs, no PACs, so it's the whole idea is to have campaigns be grassroots funded. So, if I had been the central committee the past few years, I would have first of all encouraged the candidates, the Democratic candidates, to utilize the CEF, as we've just seen Joan Pontius, who's a first-time candidate who filed relatively late, qualified for the CEF. I mean, it can work not just for incumbents, but it can also work for first-time candidates. I really would have started to set up some sort of, apparatus throughout the Democratic voting electorate in the county to, encourage them to give to CEF candidates and sort of set things up that way, instead of continuing to do this like centralized fundraising,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you mentioned you're from Montgomery County originally, and I think you've done some climate work in Montgomery County, and even Montgomery County, they had this public finance program. I think before we did, they did have it in their 2018 election cycle, and there's a lot of similarities between Howard County and Montgomery County. Is there anything that you've seen through your activism of sort of things that we should adopt that Montgomery County does? I think you mentioned maybe a climate plan that they have.
Well, I'm not super familiar with, what the differences are between the Montgomery County public financing and the Howard County program. But yeah, in terms of the climate plan, under Mark Elrich, I mean, it's like one of the strongest climate plans probably in the country. But, written by a county. I mean, it's unbelievable. So, when a bunch of environmentalists got together to talk about what we wanted for the Howard County climate plan, I mean, a lot of us had read the Montgomery County one, and that was kind of a guide. And I'm really surprised that, that there are some organizations out there that I won't name, but have endorsed, David Blair over Mark Elrich. I mean, he's a publicly funded incumbent who, under his administration, this climate plan was written. And David Blair, I've seen his campaign finance reports. I don't know. I'm just really confused by the whole thing,
Yeah, and I think a common thread, or I think a reason why that climate proposal plan put out by County Executive Mark Elrich in Montgomery County is so strong is because he doesn't take developer and corporate money, at least not to my knowledge. And I can't help but question, maybe that's why we don't have a stronger environmental plan, because our county executive does take quite a bit of that money. But yes, well, I think on that note, we're going to close it out here. But thank you so much again. That was Meagan Braganca and Karen Emery in part one. This is for the HoCo4Us Slate candidate interview series for the Democratic Central Committee here in Howard County. I encourage you to check out our full platform and all 17 of us candidates on our website, HoCo4Us.com. There's HoCo4Us, the number 4, HoCo4Us.com. And if you want to subscribe to our Progressive Democrats of Howard County email list, subscribe to us on social media, join, become a dues paying member, et cetera, et cetera. All of that and more is on our link tree. The link is linktr.ee/HoCo Progressives. So thank you so much. Any last message before we close? Any early voting messages, Hiruy?
Yeah, actually, we vote if you're not voting by mail, early voting is definitely the way to go. And if you would like to help our slate, please contact any one of us. Will direct you to the best polling location, and we'll give you some literature, and then you can bring your sunscreen, because you're gonna need it. If I remember 4 years ago, it was brutal. So now that was in June. This is July, so it's gonna be even worse. So I'm looking forward to the early voting and election day, and I think we have done something to be very proud of. And as Karen mentioned, this is a project that I think will continue for a very long time. So this is just looking forward to what we will be doing over the next few years. So that's it from me, Jake.
Absolutely, yeah. Early voting stations, there are 5 of them. Starts tomorrow, July 7th through the 14th. Howard, Longreach, Wild Lake, Marriott's Ridge, and Reservoir High School.
Reservoir.
Yes, Reservoir High School. So yeah, please reach out if you want to volunteer or on election day. But other than that, we will see you, for episode 20. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everybody.